Have you ever been stuck between a rock and a hard place where every single choice feels wrong? Well, today we're cracking open a 2,500-year-old guide for exactly that feeling. We're talking about the Bhagavad Gita. Now, it all happens on a battlefield, sure, but the real war it's talking about, that's the one that happens inside all of us when we're facing those impossible decisions. So let's get into it. Our journey is going to follow the exact path Krishna lays out for the warrior Arjuna. We're going to move step by step from total despair to a place of clarity and action. And it all starts with the problem. We're dropping right into the heart of the crisis. Picture this, Arjuna, maybe the greatest warrior of his time, is on the brink of the biggest battle of his life, and he just completely shuts down. He's having a total moral breakdown. That's Arjuna literally throwing down his bow and arrow. Why? Because when he looks across the battlefield, he doesn't just see an enemy army. He sees his own family, his grandfathers, his teachers, his cousins. To win this thing, he has to kill the very people he loves. He has no idea what to do. He's completely lost. And right there, that's why this text is still so powerful. Arjuna's problem is our problem, isn't it? It's that moment your boss asks you to do something that feels wrong, or when what's best for your family feels like it's crushing you. You know that feeling of being trapped, where any move you make feels like a disaster? That's where Arjuna is. So how does his guide, Krishna, respond? You think maybe a pep talk, right? You can do it. But no, he does something way more radical. He completely pulls the rug out from under Arjuna's entire worldview. Whoa, what a way to start. Can you imagine? Krishna is not being cruel here. He's basically telling Arjuna, the thing you're freaking out about, life and death, you've got it all wrong. Your grief is based on a misunderstanding. And to explain this, Krishna breaks reality down into two buckets. There's the body, the physical stuff, it's temporary, it changes, it's ultimately unreal. And then there's the self, the Atman. That's the real you. It's eternal, it's unchanging, and it can't be destroyed. And the wise, Krishna says, know the difference. This is such a brilliant way to put it. The death of the body is no more of a big deal than changing your clothes. The real you, that inner self, was never born and it will never die. It just moves from one body to the next. And just like that, poof, Krishna takes the biggest fear of all, the fear of death, right off the table. Okay, so with that huge existential fear out of the way, Krishna pivots. He brings Arjuna back down to earth, back to this very moment, and talks about his role and responsibility in the world. This is a really key idea called swadharma. It basically means your own personal rightful duty. Krishna's reminding Arjuna, look, you are a warrior. That's your nature, that's your job in the cosmic order. And for you, fighting to protect what's right isn't just an option. It's the very reason you're here. So running away isn't some noble, peaceful choice. Not for Arjuna. For him, abandoning his duty is a huge failure. It'll bring him sin, dishonor, which Krishna says is worse than death, and everyone will think he's a coward. Inaction, in this case, has really, really bad consequences. All right, so Arjuna has to fight. It's his duty. But how can he possibly do that without being completely destroyed by the guilt and the grief of it all? This question leads us to probably the most famous teaching in the entire Gita. This one verse is a total game changer for how to approach life. Krishna is saying, focus everything you have on doing the action, on performing your duty as perfectly as you can. But, and this is the big but, you have to completely let go of any attachment to the result. Whether you win or lose, succeed or fail, that's not your business. And there's a name for this practice, Nishkama Karma Yoga. It's the yoga of selfless action. It's about finding freedom inside the work, not by running away from it. The whole point is to act with a steady mind, free from that constant anxiety of, what if I fail? Or, what's in it for me? And Krishna even gives him a how-to guide. He calls this state of mind samatva, or equanimity. It's about learning to stay balanced, to rise above all those pairs of opposites that throw us around all day, pleasure and pain, winning and losing. When you can look at both victory and defeat with the same calm, even mind, that's when you can act without getting tangled up in the consequences. Now, to show just how high the stakes are, Krishna lays out the alternative, and it's like this chilling domino effect of how the mind destroys itself. It starts so small, right? Just dwelling on something you want. That leads to attachment. which turns into craving or desire. And when you don't get what you desire, you get angry. Anger clouds your judgment, and before you know it, your own mind has completely collapsed. So after all this, what's the end goal? What does a person who's actually mastered this stuff look like? Arjuna asks this exact question, and Krishna describes what he calls the sthitaprajna, the person whose wisdom is totally steady. Now, this isn't some emotionless zombie, not at all. This is a person whose happiness comes from the inside, from that deep, unchanging self, not from anything they can get from the outside world. Their peace is rock solid because it doesn't depend on things going their way. I love this metaphor. The wise person isn't trying to get rid of their senses. They've just mastered them. They're like a tortoise. They can stick their head and limbs out to deal with the world when they need to, but at any moment, they can pull everything back into the safety of their shell, into their own inner stillness, safe from all the chaos outside. And this final image is just perfect. The mind of a wise person is like a vast, deep ocean. All the rivers of life, all the experiences, the good stuff, the bad stuff, they can all flow into it, but the ocean is just so immense that it absorbs everything without being disturbed. That's it. That's supreme peace. So in the end, the Gita gives us this incredible roadmap from total confusion to real clarity. It asks us to know what's real and what's temporary, to do our duty without getting obsessed with the results, and to find a kind of freedom by letting go. And it leaves us with a pretty personal question, doesn't it? In this world that's always telling us to want more, maybe the real path to peace is deciding what we can live without.